Well, ladies and gentlemen, hello and good afternoon. My name is Pooria Taabbodi. I am Microsoft and MikroTik official trainer, and I'm also supervisor and technical manager of Nedagusta Sabo company. Today, I want to show you how to implement Layer 3 PPPOE and InterVLAN routing our MikroTik devices. So please be with me. I hope it's be informative and useful for you. Before we are starting this implementation, we need to know some basic concepts. At first, what is the PPPOE? PPPOE, or point-to-point protocol over Ethernet, is a layer 2 network protocol that used for encapsulating PPP frames inside the Ethernet frames. It's used mainly with DSL services where individual users connect to a DSL modem over Ethernet. As you know, Ethernet networks are packet-based and have no capacity for a connection or circuits. They also lack basic security features to protect against IP and MAC conflict and rogue DHCPs. So most internet service providers separate their users' traffic to several VLANs. Now, imagine that our network topology is something like this. It means that we have a call center with a CCR as a PPPoE server that's connected to the internet and metro point-to-multipoint. And also we have some branches with individual VLANs and subnets with individual subnets, and a MikroTik router board to help them to connect to Metro PTMP and call center. Now, I have a question. Is it possible to implement PPPoE, that's a layer 2 services, over a multi-subnet network? Is it possible? Let me answer myself. Yes, it's possible by using VPLS or EIP tunnel. VPLS is behind my presentation scope, so I escape it and ignore it, and I focus on EIP tunnel. But what is the EIP tunnel? EIP tunnel, or Ethernet over IP tunneling, is a MikroTik router OS protocol that create an Ethernet tunnel between two routers on top of an IP connection. The EIP tunnel may run over IP tunnel, PPTP tunnel, or any other connection capable of transporting IP. But remember that EIP tunnel at least added 42 bytes overhead. So you should to consider your connection MTU size. Sometimes, in addition to PPPoE connection, you may need to have a layer 3 communication between your branches, for example, for managing your devices. In this case, you may use InterVLAN routing. Now, if you're ready, let's go to implementing PPPoE over EIP tunnel and branches InterVLAN routing. As a first step, for InterVLAN routing, we need to create some VLAN interfaces on a core router for each branches. So under VLAN tab, we create VLAN interfaces for each branches. There is two important points in VLAN interfaces creation. First, VLAN ID, and second, interfaces. VLAN ID is the branch VLAN, and interfaces is the port that is connected to Metro PTMP, okay? After that, as I told you before, we need to assign an IP addresses to these interfaces, to these VLAN interfaces. But please pay attention that these IP addresses used as a default gateway in branches, okay? So under IP address, we assign each interfaces an IP address, and finally we use them as a default gateway in branches. Now, in each branches, we need to set an IP addresses on a port that is connected to Metro PTMP. For example, here Ether 5 is directly connected to Metro PTMP. So we assign an IP address on it. And after that, as I mentioned before, we set an default gateway here for each branches. But remember, this default gateway is the core router sub-interfaces, or is it the core router InterVLAN interfaces IP address, okay? Now, InterVLAN implementation finished. It's really easy on MikroTik. So if now you ping any branches each other, they can access to each other and they can communicate to each other. Now let's go to creating and configuring EIP tunnels. So in each branches, including core router, we need to create an EIP tunnel. So in EIP tunnel tab, we create an EIP tunnel in each branches and also in core router. There is again two important points in EIP tunnel creation. First, remote address, and second, tunnel ID. Remote address is the IP address of the other side. For example, it means that if you want to implement an EIP tunnel on a branch MikroTik, you should set the IP address of the core MikroTik as a remote address here. And tunnel ID. Tunnel ID is a number and is an ID that should be equal in two sides. For example, if you type here 119 as a tunnel ID in a core MikroTik, you should set it again, it means 119 as a tunnel ID in a branch MikroTik 2. Now, for using this EIP tunnel, we need to bridge it with the interfaces that are directly connected to end users. For example, here, Ether 3 is directly connected to PPPOE client. So I bridge it with the EIP tunnel that I created before. Now, client and configuration finished. And we should come back to core router and bridge all EIP tunnels, all branch EIP tunnels together. But here's a problem. Bridging all EIP tunnels together make a big broadcast domain, and it's not good for our network because it imposes high unwanted traffic to our network. So we use bridge filters to compensate it. Okay? It means that under bridge filters, we create a bridge rule that, for example, says if any 191 tagged traffic want to cross from any EIP tunnels except this EIP tunnel, it's not. Except this EIP tunnel, it should be dropped. It compensates and solve our problem. Now that we provide a layer 2 interfaces, we should to configure our PPPOE server. So as a first step, we need an IP pool to assign IP addresses to our clients. So under IP pool, we create an IP pool. After that, we need to create a PPPP profile to apply our configuration to our customers. So under PPP profile, we create a PPP profile and use the IP pool that we created before as a remote address. Now, as you know, for connecting to our router, we need a username and password. So under PPP secret, we create a username and password, and in a profile box, we use the profile that we created before. Finally, we need to enable and configuring PPPoE server. So under PPPoE server, we create a PPPoE server and on a bridge interfaces. Attention please. We create a PPPoE server on a bridge interfaces and set the profile that we created before as a default profile here. Okay, finish. It's really easy. Now if you create a PPPoE connection or create a broadband connection on each branches, you can access to your core router and you can access to the internet. It was layer 3 PPPoE implementation and InterVLAN routing on a MikroTik router board. It was really easy. Okay, now if you have any question, I'm here to answer you. Do you have any question? Yeah.
In your scenario, who is owning this device to provide us
Telecommunication company, Metro PTMP or telecommunication company is the owner of these links. Okay, any other question? No question? Okay, thank you for your time and goodbye.